And I'm looking at this Giant team right now like, this is not it.
No, and there's really
14 games under.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Come on, man.
The season's over. The playoffs are done.
9.5 back of the Cardinals.
Let me tell you what you need to start doing. Because, whatever you think about.
I got my pen.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Don't, stop worrying about the Cardinals.
Then how
seriously,
do you show up to the ballpark?
You know who you worry about? Worry about the New York Mets right now. Try to catch the Mets.
They're playing better baseball.
They're 3 games ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay? If you catch the Mets, Goo, then you're in 13th place all by yourself.
Wow.
They're done. They're 14 under. They're not. There's 7 teams between them and the third wild card. They have dug themselves a hole they are incapable of getting out of. They just are. Come on, Drew.
Yeah, I got you.
Right.
And I got to do something here. I said 9.5. They're actually 9 behind St. Louis. But I hear you. But, Steiny, give me this. Then where's Willard and Grandy when you need them? 60 games in, as far as that 9 games back, and we're old school. I go when there are only 4 teams, when there was 4 divisions. I get you. But I gotta say this just to you because it's in my heart. The math is still there.
It's
the
not.
baseball may not be, but the math is still there. But
they have played so badly through 60 games that the next 102 are almost superfluous.
Wow.
They're not going to go 62-40.
We got a bet for 6 in a row. I'm boy. And I'll say this. If you're right, because I kind of felt like that, Steiny, I was watching the games on the deck, sipping Mai Tais, Long Island's, watching the Giant game. I came front. I did that to myself. Now, Bryce Eldridge is a natural first baseman, and I like what I see. He's starting to figure it out. But the bottom line is you got a guy at third base with a no-trade clause. If it were me, he would be on the first thing smoking, and then I would somehow see if I could get Devers back over there. That's okay. That's not going to happen, right? Devers ain't took ground balls at third base. Not going to happen. But I will say this. Eldridge is looking nice with the glove. How can I get him at first base when your best player that's his position? So what if I told you I'm getting greedy in regard to I'm getting mad at the Giants for the Eldridge component of the days that he won't be at first base? Because Devers is there.
Yeah. So he's got a DH. You don't like that?
No, I mean, I like him in the lineup, but if this team, if this shout-out ship is going nowhere and it's sinking, I want Eldridge to play in the field. I want him to get all the season. Season of like taco seasoning. I want him to get the glove and the bat. Okay. But I get Devers is at first. So I'm like, Chapman's so in the way. And I read the Susan Slusser article. It's terrible. He's getting hate mail and death threats to his. That stuff stinks, man. It does. But, Steiny, he gave you a 2-run lead yesterday. And I was like, maybe he's figuring it out. And this just an impotent offense.
I mean, to my way of thinking, it's like, okay, again, this is Buster Posey. Now we have a question for you. You play Eldridge at first, but Rafael Devers has made it clear he likes to play in the field.
No doubt.
And he's fielding the ball well. So the reality of the situation now is you have a veteran who wants to play in the field.
His new position.
And has been playing first base pretty darn well.
He has.
So Eldridge has some DH.
So how big,
Period.
How big of a problem, is it minute to you? Or, the days that Eldridge can't get first base in the field every day, is that a big deal? Nothing to see here? Or would Bryce tell us, Goo, yeah, I'm just happy to be in the lineup every day because that's what should happen moving forward, even if they got me stashed to DH?
Well, Devers is a better fielding first baseman. So the only place Eldridge can play right now is designated hitter.
Oh, my gosh, man. I just wish he could play, the outfield.
If it bothers you so much, then you would want to take away the Devers trade last year because you got a first baseman that has now clogged things up for Eldridge. whether you like it or not.
No, I love the ideal of Eldridge and what he's doing and what he can become, but that doesn't supersede my love and desire for Devers, because I think, on a good day, Steiny, he's a bad dude, man. So I'm just keeping it real with, if I take a step or two back, shout out to the, what's the dance I was just talking about, Steiny, that I can't do?
Electric slide.
My man. Electric slide. In a perfect world, Eldridge would be in the field every day.
Right, but we know that Buster Posey has put together a team that doesn't really interlock. It just doesn't.
3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah. Probably 5-16 in their last 21. Dude, they're 14 under.
Wow. Through 60. That's that. Yeah.
Wow. Chapman did hit a homer yesterday.
Yeah.
His second one of the year.
Yeah. But I'm still thinking about, shout out Ice Cube, Steiny. I'm thinking about Friday night. You gotta be kidding me. Just a can of bullpen. Man.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the series where, hey, you can win 2 or 3 and you might sweep. You gotta, yeah.
They might get swept in this series.
And then you go to Wrigley. Huh?
Yeah. This is Tony Vitello on
Give it to me.
How he reacts when the team's struggling and he's going through it.
Because when you're going through it, though, how do you react? Do you get pissed off? Do you get embarrassed? I mean, how do you, just...
No, just same as any situation is, I'm a coach of the players, a manager of the team, but I'm a fan of the players too. So just want to see them do well. And so we're talking, we've added meetings before the game. We're talking in the dugout. We're just trying to do anything we can to put our guys in a position to succeed, or just make sure we're doing our job. So if the job, is in the bottom of the 7th to pay, keep one eye on our hitter, but also top of the 8th, one eye on the hitter, and conversations in the dugout. How are we going to do this thing? So just trying to do the best to have the old, Navy SEAL or Army approach, however you want, whatever the next task is, try and manage it.
All right. Tony Vitello trying to explain.
I ain't mad at
how
him.
he approaches some, tough times like they're having right now.
Well, they got a new third base coach, right? Gary Pettis coming in.
Oh yeah.
So
they're 1-4 since they fired their third base coach.
Man. Oh, so that's right. What you could relieve.
I'm sorry,
them.
1-3.
All right, relieved him, Hector Borg. But man, Steiny, I truly mean that phrase. You can't fall from the floor, but I guess you can. If you're 14 under, you can be 20 under. You can be 25 under. We've seen that, but I'm looking at this rotation, and I just don't know. Roop is, again, he's not Roger Clemens, but he has been solid. And I'm thinking, man, 2-0 early. And again, it's against a good Milwaukee team. And I'll say this for Vitello. And again, it seems to happen the first game of series to where, you know what, McDonald, they're rocking you. You're just going to stay in, and your ERA is just going to, just get injected with runs. And he left Landon out there too, and that happened to him.
I think the bigger issue was that Roop said he, wasn't feeling great, and they left him in. Obviously, I read Andy Baggerly's piece in The Athletic, and he'll throw words in there that make you know what he's talking about. And he was when Roop was struggling in that inning, and Vitello didn't go out to the mound. He sent the pitching coach. Baggerly was suggesting that this is one of your best pitchers. You just don't let him kind of die out there on the mound throwing 96 pitches.
That's how I thought, Stoney.
We don't have any pitchers. You don't have any pitchers.
Now that's a major.
You don't have any pitchers. I don't. Again.
I wish I had answers for you, but whoa.
There are no answers. That, and that's the other thing.
Well, I guess what are the questions?
Well,
what can you do?
Rafael Devers, he's having an okay year.
A great May.
He's having a great year.
Okay.
Right. Adames, he's hitting 240. That's what he hits. Chapman, 234. Jung Hoo Lee's having a great year. like, this is the other thing. They're not all having terrible years anymore. They're not. They don't. Their pitching is awful.
It's not just about the hitting. That's what I figured out. I thought it was just about the offense, and now you're starting to see, man, Stoney. They just, I don't know. I am truly worried in regard to how bad this thing can get. Yeah, I have no confidence against Harrison tonight. I mean, you look at his numbers, the dude, he was once yours. I mean, this is probably the biggest game of his career to shove it to a team that, let's just put it right on the table, brought to you by Echo Pest Control. I don't know how many of you and Devone, put on the table, Stoney, while I was out, but the bottom line is, man, if he just shoves it to you, it'll just be, another clog and something that's just been a stinky season, man.
I mean, like, the thing, and I don't want to get all doom and gloom.
Well, they're 14 under.
Right. So you tell me what's left to play for. You tell me what you're going to be looking for the next 2 months until the trade deadline. Like, this is what
2 months.
They are 14 games under. They're probably not getting back to 500 at this point. But even if they do start playing better, it's going to get swept up and it's going to get lost because it's going to be talked about as a team who, they started winning some games once the stakes were low. And, like, the idea that it's still early to me is fascinating because I don't think it's early at all. I really don't. They are 60 games in, and what has happened that leads you to believe the team is better than this? That's what I cannot come away with, because
I had 90 wins. Just think about that for a second.
They can start hitting, but Malley's still going to pitch, and Hauser's still going to pitch.
And you keep going. Ray, not missing many bats. Roop, Webb, and hopefully nothing's up with Roop. But I will say this, boy, where I would like to start is Matt Chapman, because I believe when Ramos comes back, that would free up a spot. But you don't have the Janet Jackson with him, Stoney. He has a no trade clause. Imagine that. So if he loves it here, and you kind of threw this to me before I left, maybe he needs a new locale. So if you found a spot that he would sign off on going to, but if you don't even have control over jetsoning, getting him out of here, I mean, what can you really truly do? And then I'm looking at Robbie Ray like, how valuable are you? Every outing, I'm just like, I don't know what it is about me and what mechanism or spell that the Giant players and pitchers, maybe it's the uniform, have over me to where I thought they were going to be better than 81 and 81, and I was blaming Melvin.
They're a Bay Area
It's not, I don't get out like that. I respect it. Stoney, you could say a lot about me. You hadn't mentioned my shirt today, but come on, man. I'm no homer. I got love for the Bay teams, but I'm going to call a spade a spade.
I don't have to use the word homer, but you greatly exaggerate the talent level on our local teams.
Greatly exaggerate.
You just do.
I do it a lot in my life. Wow. So what do you do? If you can't trade the one guy, I think we all could. If you, Evan, and I got in the room and Evan popped on the mic and we said, what would you do first if you could? Forget the trade. Let's act like the deadline's you can do it now. The guy you probably want to move, you can't unless he signs off on it.
I mean, why wouldn't he want to be traded? Why wouldn't Matt Chapman? Why would he say, no, I don't want to be traded?
Well, when you put it like that, damn.
He's going to say no to being traded to the Yankees or being traded to a team that actually has a chance? I mean, he'll wave that thing in a heartbeat.
You know what?
Why would he not wave his no trade? I'd like to stay in San Francisco and finish it out.
All right.
No chance.
But after reading that article, Stoney, this start is getting to him, and it would probably get to any player. Again, I'm never call him Brooks Robinson, but this for even him has been a start that you got people threatening his family. That stuff is not cool. I hear you. It happens, though. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
Well, okay. So Giant. I thought Bay Area fans, Philly fans are terrible.
We're nasty out here.
Okay, so we're nasty. We're just as bad as everybody else. Okay.
Did you watch the Warriors season? You did. We reacted to all 82
sometimes
games.
we tend to point fingers at other fan bases.
We
as
got some
having
nasty
really
out here.
Some bad fans, but what I guess what we find is there's bad fans. Bad fans everywhere.
But I got to say this to the people that took time out to send him a note or what have you. I mean, is he the only one that you're mad at, Giant fans? Like, is Buster getting hate mail?
Are you suggesting they send more?
No, I'm just
other people?
14 under through 60. I'm not being smart. I'm having some fun a little bit down there. I saw a comedian on the boat. But my question to you is, what's Buster's email look like? I'm sure it's not. Hey, you're doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, well, they're not. I mean, like, what do they?
I just think every day the honeymoon stage is wearing off on Buster in this, first year, second year trying to take a crack at it, and Vitello for that matter.
Tony Vitello is a sports talk commentator in Knoxville. He covered Vitello when he was at Tennessee. They had him on the Morning Roast yesterday. This is what he said about Vitello going to the big leagues from Tennessee.
Tony probably ain't gonna like me saying this, but he's Nick Saban of college baseball. And Nick Saban, when he went from LSU to the Miami Dolphins, everybody was looking at him going, okay, when's he coming back to the sport? Whether that's fair or not. Like, Tony in his mind might be saying, you know what, I'm done with it. He hadn't told me that, but he might be thinking, you know what, I'm going to make it here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it in this league.
Wow. And I just appreciate Tony saying, Tony's probably not going to like this, but Steiny, if he said Saban, and that playbook obviously didn't work in the NFL and the impact and effect you have on, on young adults, it's totally different. But again, we're all adults and have our own mind. But just hearing that, it's like it's not going to work. Vitello's playbook will not work on the major league. Whatever that means or entails, that's a guy saying he doesn't think it's going to work.
This is more Tony Vitello on, what Vitello's going through.
The thing about Major League Baseball is it's such a closed fraternity. I sense there are a lot of media people and even people in the Bay Area, if I can say this, cheering against the guy because he's not in the club. They don't want him in the club. They don't want college coaches in the club. You know that from following the college game. There's a line of demarcation in that sport that doesn't exist in some of these other sports. There's a level of resistance there that's palpable, and they don't want this guy. This guy's an interloper in their sights. They don't want him there. So every little thing he does, they're going to jump all over. Every little thing, every little mistake he makes, they're going to, because he doesn't speak like the last couple guys, and he's not like Gabe Kapler.
Wow. All right. That's what I want to kind of jump into on the other side. I'll play it again. I think you got to be more specific about who he's talking about. I do not sense that Giant fans think he's an interloper. I don't think Giant fans are rooting against him. I do think there's some media that would like to see him not do well. Absolutely. And maybe there's some people inside baseball who don't want to see him do well. But Giants fans have shown me this year that they're smart enough to know it's not Vitello's fault.